The noose swayed in the desert wind, empty now. Marshal Tom Hastings had cut himself free with a hidden blade, dropping 15 feet onto unforgiving ground. His neck bore the rope's mark, a crimson reminder of how close death had come. The Vance brothers thought they'd silenced him for good after he'd witnessed their bank massacre. They were wrong. Tom's horse waited in the canyon below, loyal as ever. His badge lay in the dust of Silver Creek's main street, thrown there by Sheriff Dutton, a man he'd once called friend, now revealed as the Vance brothers' inside man. 3 innocent people died in that bank: a schoolteacher, a shopkeeper, a young father. Tom had 72 hours before the gang disappeared into Mexico with $50,000 in gold. No badge, no backup, no second chances. His Colt Peacemaker held 6 bullets. He'd need every one. As sunset painted the mesas blood red, Tom mounted up. The gang had made 2 mistakes: leaving him alive and underestimating what one determined man would do for justice. Silver Creek lay 30 miles east. The Vance brothers' hideout was somewhere beyond those crimson hills. Time was bleeding away like water in the desert. Tom Hastings was riding toward hell, and he was bringing it with him. Well, hello there, friend. Welcome. Pull up a chair and settle in, because what you just heard is only the beginning of something special. Marshal Tom Hastings left for dead on a hanging tree, the rope still burning his neck, but alive. Alive and madder than a rattlesnake in a boot. I'm Hank Wilson, and I'm mighty glad you're here with me today. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in blazes is one man going to take down an entire gang and a crooked sheriff with just 6 bullets in 72 hours? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out together. Before we ride any further, do me a kindness. Hit that like button if you're enjoying this tale. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next, because believe me, you'll want to know how this story ends. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me what country you're watching from. Makes an old story. Teller's heart glad to know where his listeners are gathering from around the world. Now, Tom's night is just beginning. The town of Silver Creek thinks he's a traitor. The Vance brothers think he's dead. But there's one witness who knows the truth about those murders in the bank. The race is on to find them before Sheriff Dutton does. Because dead men tell no tales, and Dutton aims to keep it that way. So let's not waste another moment. The desert night is calling, and justice rides with the wind. The morning of the robbery had started like any other. Tom Hastings poured his second coffee while watching Silver Creek wake up through the marshal's office window. 18 years he'd worn the badge. 18 years keeping the peace in a town that grew from a mining camp into something resembling civilization. Sheriff Ray Dutton burst through the door, face flushed. "Tom, we got a situation. Wire came from Santa Fe. The Vance brothers are headed this way." Tom set down his cup. The Vance brothers, Cyrus, Luther, and young Jacob, had left a trail of blood across 3 territories: banks, stagecoaches, even a train outside Tucson. 15 men dead by their guns. "When?" Tom asked. "Could be today, could be tomorrow. We need to deputize some men, fortify the bank." They spent the morning preparing. Tom positioned himself across from Silver Creek Savings and Loan, rifle ready. Dutton took the south entrance. 3 deputized townsmen covered the remaining approaches. 2 o'clock arrived with the thunder of hooves. 6 riders, not 3. They dismounted with military precision, faces hidden behind bandanas. Tom's instincts screamed warning. This wasn't random, this was planned. The shooting started before he could shout. The deputized townsman fell first, cut down from behind. Tom spun to see Sheriff Dutton's smoking gun. Their eyes met across the dusty street. Dutton's held no remorse. Inside the bank, screams erupted, then silence. 3 shots. Tom raised his rifle toward his former friend. The world exploded in pain as something struck his head. Darkness swallowed everything. Tom woke with his hands bound, draped across a saddle like a sack of grain. Blood crusted his hair. His head throbbed with each heartbeat. Voices drifted through the fog of pain. "Should have killed him clean, Ray." The voice was rough gravel, Cyrus Vance, the eldest brother. "Wanted it to look right," Dutton replied. "Town needs to believe he was part of it. String him up like the outlaw he'll die as." Tom kept his breathing steady, feigning unconsciousness. The horse beneath him stopped. Rough hands dragged him down. His boots hit dirt. Through slitted eyes, he saw the hanging tree, a gnarled cottonwood on the ridge outside town. "String him up," Cyrus ordered. They fitted the noose around his neck with practiced efficiency. Tom's heart hammered. The small blade in his boot, a gift from an Apache scout years ago, pressed against his calf. If he could reach it. "Any last words, Marshal?" Luther Vance mocked. Tom opened his eyes, meeting each man's gaze. "Justice finds everyone eventually." Dutton slapped the horse. Tom dropped, the rope snapping tight. Pain exploded in his neck, but his bound hands found his boot. Fingers closed around the blade's handle. He sawed frantically at the rope binding his wrists as consciousness wavered. The rope frayed, snapped. His hands flew to the noose. The small blade cut through hemp fiber. He fell, hitting ground hard enough to knock the wind from his lungs. Above, the gang's laughter faded toward Silver Creek. They thought him dead. Tom lay gasping, fingers working the noose loose. The sun beat down mercilessly. His horse, faithful Dante, waited in the canyon below, trained never to wander far. Alive. Against impossible odds, he was alive, and now he had work to do. Tom descended into the canyon as dusk approached. Every muscle screamed protest. The rope burn encircled his neck like a brand. But pain was fuel now, burning away everything except purpose. Dante nickered softly, nuzzling Tom's chest. The gray gelding had carried him through 12 years of rangering and marshaling. Tom ran his hands over the horse's flanks, checking for injury. Nothing. The gang had simply left him, assuming a marshal's horse wouldn't matter to a dead man. His saddlebags remained intact. Dried beef, ammunition, a canteen. The gang's arrogance was their first mistake. Tom checked his Colt, still loaded. 6 shots. He had a Henry rifle in the saddle scabbard with 15 rounds. Against 6 men, mathematics favored the house. But Tom had never been much for gambling. He rode east as stars emerged. Silver Creek's lights glowed on the horizon. Tom circled wide, approaching from the north through arroyos that shielded him from view. The town would be in chaos. 3 dead, the bank robbed, their marshal hanged. Dutton would be spinning stories, playing the grieving lawman. Tom reached the town limits near midnight. He left Dante in an abandoned livery on the outskirts and moved through shadows toward the undertaker's office. Old Samuel Webb answered Tom's quiet knock, eyes widening at the ghost before him. "Lord have mercy," Samuel whispered. "They said you were dead." "Who'd they bury?" "Haven't yet. Bodies are inside. The schoolteacher was Clara Pembroke. Store owner was Henry Chen. The young father was David Walsh, wife's expecting their 2nd child." Tom's jaw tightened. "I need information, Samuel. Everything." Samuel Webb's parlor smelled of formaldehyde and despair. Tom sat in shadows while the old undertaker talked. "Dutton's telling folks you were in on it. Says he found evidence in your office, maps, correspondence with the Vance brothers. Claims you turned traitor for gold." Tom's hands clenched. Dutton had planned this carefully. Destroy the marshal's reputation, assume control, and let the real thieves vanish into Mexico. "Who believes him?" Samuel hesitated. "Most folks are confused. You've kept peace here 18 years. But Dutton's convincing, and people are scared. 3 dead, Tom. They want answers, even wrong ones." "The gang still in town?" "Rode out this afternoon, north toward the Badlands. Dutton's organizing a posse for tomorrow. Says they'll hunt you down if you somehow survived." Tom stood, moving to the window. Silver Creek's main street lay quiet under moonlight. "I need you to do something for me, Samuel. Anything. Tomorrow morning, let it slip I'm alive. Tell the saloon keeper, tell the barber. Let word spread. I want Dutton nervous." Samuel nodded slowly. "You're using yourself as bait." "I'm smoking out a rat." Tom adjusted his gun belt. "The Vance brothers have the gold. Dutton has his reputation. But once they know I'm alive, that changes everything. Dutton will panic. Panicked men make mistakes." "And if they come for you?" Tom's smile held no warmth. "I'm counting on it." He slipped into the night, leaving Samuel Webb to tend his dead and prepare his rumors. By dawn, Silver Creek would know their marshal walked among them, a ghost seeking justice. Tom watched the Walsh house from behind the stable. Dawn painted the horizon pink. Inside, lamplight flickered as Elizabeth Walsh moved through her kitchen, preparing breakfast for a husband who'd never eat again. He'd known David Walsh since the young man arrived 2 years ago. Carpenter, father, good man who'd simply been in the wrong place. Elizabeth was 7 months along with their second child. Little Sarah, barely 3, would grow up without remembering her father's face. Tom had to know what David saw before he died. He approached quietly, knocking soft. Elizabeth opened the door, eyes red from crying. She gasped when she saw him. "Marshal Hastings, they said—" "I know what they said, Mrs. Walsh. I'm sorry to disturb you, but I need to know about David, about yesterday." She let him in. Sarah slept upstairs. Elizabeth poured coffee with shaking hands. "David went to deposit his week's earnings, $23. We were saving for—" Her voice broke. "Doesn't matter now." "What did he tell you about the robbery?" "Nothing. He never came out." Elizabeth's tears fell freely. "But Sarah was with me outside the mercantile. She saw something." Tom leaned forward. "What did she see?" "A man in a badge. She kept saying, 'The Star Man hurt Papa.' I thought she meant you because children know you, but then—" Elizabeth met his eyes. "She drew a picture. The badge was different, a deputy's badge." Tom's blood ran cold. "Dutton shot him." "Inside the bank, yes. Sarah saw through the window before I pulled her away. The sheriff went in first, before the gang. He shot Mr. Chen and Miss Pembroke too. Then the others came in." Evidence. Finally, evidence. Tom rode north toward the Badlands, tracking the Vance brothers. 6 horses left clear prints in the dust. They weren't bothering to hide their trail. Why would they? As far as they knew, the only lawman who could identify them was dead. The Badlands rose like broken teeth against the sky. Red rock formations twisted into natural mazes where a man could hide an army. Tom knew these canyons from his rangering days. The Vance brothers were using them exactly as he'd expect. Multiple escape routes, high ground, water sources. He found their camp at noon. Smoke rose from a box canyon 3 miles ahead. Tom left Dante in a sheltered arroyo and continued on foot, rifle ready. The Henry's familiar weight brought comfort, 15 shots if needed. Tom climbed the canyon wall, finding a vantage point above their camp. 6 men sprawled around a fire, the 3 Vance brothers and 3 hired guns he didn't recognize. Saddlebags heavy with gold sat piled near a dead tree. "Dutton's taking too long," Cyrus Vance complained. "We should have crossed into Mexico yesterday." "He's got to play it right," Luther replied. "Another day, maybe 2. Then he'll join us with his cut." Jacob, the youngest, cleaned his rifle. "You think that marshal's really dead?" "Saw him swing myself," one of the hired guns said. "Neck stretched a foot. He's feeding vultures by now." Tom smiled grimly. He could take maybe 2 before they scattered. Not good enough. He needed them contained, vulnerable. He studied the canyon walls. A rock fall could block the main exit, but that required perfect timing and considerable luck. Then Tom noticed the deadfall, a massive boulder perched precariously above the canyon entrance. One good shot might send it tumbling. Nature had prepared his trap. He worked his way around to a position above the boulder. The sun blazed overhead. Sweat stung his eyes. Tom lined up his shot on the rock's base, where erosion had left it balanced on a single point. He squeezed the trigger. The Vance brothers scrambled for weapons as dust from the rockfall settled. Tom fired 3 quick shots into the camp, not to kill, but to keep them pinned. They dove for cover behind rocks and supplies. "Who's up there?" Cyrus Vance roared. "The man you tried to hang," Tom's voice echoed off canyon walls. "Tom Hastings, and I'm here to take you in." Gunfire erupted. Bullets sparked off rocks near Tom's position. He dropped back, letting them waste ammunition. 6 men, panic firing. They'd burn through rounds quickly. Tom moved along the rim, firing from new positions. One shot, relocate. Another shot, relocate, making them think he was everywhere. The hired guns broke first, running for their horses. Tom dropped one with a shoulder shot. The other 2 scrambled up the back canyon wall. Tom let them go. He wanted the Vance brothers. "You can't get us all," Luther shouted. "Don't need to, just need you 3. Murder, bank robbery. You'll hang legal this time." Young Jacob panicked, making a run for it. Tom's shot took him in the leg. The kid went down screaming. Cyrus dragged him behind cover. "We split the gold," Cyrus called. 30,000 for you, walk away." 3 people died, Cyrus. Clara Pembroke taught children to read. Henry Chen never cheated anyone in his life. David Walsh had a wife and daughter, another baby coming. They died for your gold. Tom fired again, pinning Luther. The sun moved westward. Time was his ally. No water in their position, no escape. Eventually, they'd have to surrender or die trying. An hour passed. 2. The brothers held position, but Tom heard them arguing. Fear made men careless. As dusk approached, Luther made his move, sprinting for the horses. Tom's shot took him clean. Luther fell, clutching his side. "Damn you, Hastings!" Cyrus screamed. "Throw out your guns," Tom commanded. "It's over." Silence. Then weapons clattered on rock. Cyrus and Jacob emerged, hands raised. Tom rode into Silver Creek at dawn with 2 prisoners and 1 body. The Vance brothers slumped in their saddles, hands bound to their horns. Luther's corpse draped across his horse, evidence of their crimes. The town gathered, stunned. Their dead marshal had returned from the grave. Sheriff Dutton emerged from the marshal's office, face draining of color. "Tom, but you were hanged?" "I was." Tom touched the rope burn on his neck. "Your friends here made a mistake. They left me alive." Dutton's hand drifted toward his gun. 20 rifles cocked in response. The townsfolk had questions now. Doubt creased their faces. "Elizabeth Walsh," Tom called. "Tell them what Sarah saw." The widow stepped forward, trembling but determined. "My daughter saw Sheriff Dutton shoot my husband. She saw him kill Miss Pembroke and Mr. Chen before the gang ever entered the bank." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Dutton backed toward his office door. "That's a lie, a child's confusion. Tom's the traitor. The evidence is in my desk." "Evidence you planted," Tom said. "Maps you drew, letters you forged, all to cover your partnership with these men." "Prove it," Dutton snarled. Cyrus Vance laughed bitterly. "We'll prove it. He promised us protection, promised us inside information, said we'd split 80-20. He kept the 20 and tried to pin it all on you." Dutton drew his gun. Tom's Colt cleared leather faster. 18 years of practice, muscle memory built from 10,000 draws. His shot took Dutton through the shoulder, spinning him. The sheriff's gun fell to the dust. The town's leading citizens surrounded Dutton as he clutched his wound. Mayor Thornton picked up the fallen weapon. "We'll need a trial," the mayor said quietly. "A proper one." "We will," Tom agreed, "for all of them. Legal justice, the way it should be." They locked Dutton in his own jail alongside the Vance brothers. Tom stood in the street as the sun climbed higher, warming his face. He retrieved his badge from where Dutton had thrown it. The metal was tarnished, dented, but it still caught the morning light. He pinned it back on his vest. Silver Creek needed a marshal, and Tom Hastings still had work to do. "Well, friend, we've come to the end of the trail." Tom Hastings rode into hell and came back with justice in his holster and fire in his eyes. From that hanging tree where most men would have met their maker, to the dusty streets of Silver Creek where he pinned that badge back on, this was a story about one thing: a man who refused to let evil win. You know, the Old West wasn't just about quick draws and showdowns. It was about men and women who built something from nothing, who stood up when standing up meant risking everything. Tom Hastings could have ridden away, could have let Silver Creek believe the lies. But he came back. Not for glory, not for gold, but because 3 innocent people deserved justice and a town deserved the truth. That's what makes a real hero, isn't it? Not the shooting, not the riding. It's coming back when every bone in your body says run. It's facing down 6 men because it's the right thing to do. It's pinning on that tarnished badge one more time because somebody's got to stand between good folks and the darkness. I hope you enjoyed riding alongside Marshal Hastings on this journey. If you did, don't forget that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Drop a comment and let me know, what country are you watching from? And what kind of story should old Hank Wilson tell you next time? Until we meet again on these dusty trails, remember, justice might ride slow sometimes, but it always arrives right on time. This is Hank Wilson, tipping my hat to you. Safe travels, friend.